Welcome to another episode of Sound the Sirens. I'm your host, Thomas Orness, and today we are going to talk to you about the Texas Tech game. And me and Michael were there. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah, mid-October was like
great. It could have been a picture perfect game.
Like the 70s.
Yeah, picture perfect game. I mean, I already had COVID, so like there's a little tailgating spot where like a underground tailgating spot because of COVID. Because all those were closed for the Iowa State, which like there's a little parking lot where some Iowa State fans tailgated. Me and Michael were a part of that group. And yeah, it was a perfect day, as we said. And we just like coming off the high of Oklahoma game, and I thought there might be a slump, but no, we came out right away and drove all the way down the field. And then we had to settle for a field goal. It was a 20-yard field goal. I'm not sure exactly what happened. We watched it. It just was a low kick, got blocked, ran all the way for the touchdown, right in front of us.
Right in front. Yeah, we're in like the second row in the corner of the north end zone.
Yeah, where they unfortunately came for a touchdown, which I really thought was like dang, this might be a mood killer, but then we come right back and score again. Run right down the field and score again. So,
which is kind of the theme of the whole day. Like offense, just like didn't really meet much resistance. Brock finally. This was kind of the first game where Brock looked like himself. Timing was on. Yeah. He looked comfortable. Offensive line played super well. That possession you're talking about, our first possession, we scored a touchdown, but it was just another ineligible man downfield for the second week in a row.
Yeah. Which Campbell didn't really too happy about that.
No, those are just one of those.
I'm not sure what happens there.
As fans, those penalties are so irritating because like the mistake is made before the ball's even snapped. But
this game honestly could have been like the Patrick Mahomes game where we just beat him by 60.
Mm-hmm.
There was that potential, but it just things were. I mean, we just didn't have the big plays it was a normal day. Like the Texas Tech players really didn't feel like they want to be there. I mean, I feel like our offense line coming off of blocking Oklahoma came over and just mauled Texas Tech the whole game. But Ramos got hurt, which is unfortunate. And like then we were like, of course, like whenever an offensive lineman used to get hurt, it used to be a drop off.
Yeah, it was a big deal. We'd already lost Trevor Downings. We're like, at this point, we really didn't know how deep our offensive line room was. But then we got introduced to
Jake Runsberg, who was third team All Big 12, I think.
Right, and you just once we noticed that Ramos was out, I just kind of watched Jake the next couple of possessions, just like, and he got a push every time, every play.
It always looked like, wow, how is he not starting over him?
Yeah, no, he's a freshman, so he just was probably still figuring things out, but he played super well and obviously played extremely well down the rest of the year. So yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where like I feel like Campbell has kind of instilled this next man up mentality. So like someone getting hurt is like the opportunity to like introduce someone else. And like it feels like every time someone steps in, they just are as good or better just because they kind of rise to the occasion. And I think Jake is definitely an example of that. And he's like one of our best linemen now. And he didn't start the year starting last year, so which is crazy. So yeah, I think that was one of the big takeaways, especially the first half, where just the offensive line really controlled, gave Brees a ton of room. Brees had over 100 yards in the first half.
Yeah, he was cooking. Like he was feeling like, man, coming off the high of the Oklahoma game. He's just like, wow, I'm the dude.
He's like, I'm the best player here. I'm the best player on the field,
and he showed it this game.
He had a lot of really, really cool runs. One run in the second half specifically where he just kind of waited like Le'Veon Bell does, and then ended up running for like 30 yards.
Yes,
and then gave the inch sign to Texas Tech, letting him know he was close to scoring again, which I love when he does that.
This game, as you said, Brock, the timing with the receivers and tight ends were perfect this game. Sainer had like a crazy catch where he caught it and has got his legs cut off him, then fell and his helmet went flying in there. And
Charlie had his first touchdown. Charlie played really well. But I think since being at the game, you don't really notice like when we're playing players that don't play a ton.
Yeah.
And one player that really stood out to me on the offensive end was Daniel Jackson.
Yeah, he looks like a dude.
He was a true freshman last year. I know he got hurt, so we really didn't see a ton of him. I don't remember exactly what game he got hurt, but he played a ton. He probably played 40% of the snaps, and whenever he got the ball, like he showed he's quick, and he looks like he's got.
He didn't look like a freshman.
No, and he's a lot taller than I thought. Because I guess I just knew he played slot, and I'd heard he'd played against Texas Tech. I just really never noticed him, but he's as tall as Xavier. So I think he's going to be a guy that the first, second game, people are like, where's this Daniel Jackson guy been? But I think he's going to be a really, really
like
nice piece to
we have a bunch of receivers that have the talent there. We just need them to break through. Like him, Skates, Darren Wilson's has the talent, and will be interesting to see who actually like grabs it. Yeah, grabs the. Yeah, I'm not sure. Who do you predict that will do that?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like
that's a flip of the
you
coin,
and I
honestly.
like we are really pulling for Joe Skates. I just know he's a super talented kid, and he seems like a really good guy. And I think I just want him to figure it out. I know he's probably had some experiences in like growing up, probably not in the best areas. And I think Campbell. I think he loves Campbell. I think Campbell loves him. So I think I would really love to see him put it together this year because I think he's super talented.
Whenever he touches the ball, something good happens.
Yeah. So I think he's the guy. If I had to pick one, I think it's him. But I think him and Daniel play different positions. But I think with Landon Akers gone, I think Daniel has a really good opportunity to take over the slot.
Yeah, it'd be probably an upgrade even.
Because he'll probably play behind Tariq. But like, hopefully if Tariq stays healthy, like it doesn't look like much of a drop off between him and Daniel. So I think it'll be nice. Kind of similar to the Trevor Ryan, Deshaunte Jones days where there really wasn't much of a drop off when you subbed either of them out. They kind of have different skill sets. So I think it'll make our offense have different looks. Just being able to sub people out, which is really, really cool. Where you can sub out a whole team package, and like then the offense is like a totally different beast. So,
and like this game showed how deep our defense is. Like even after our first team obviously just mauled Texas Tech, our defensive line played really good.
And Texas Tech couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it looked like JV versus varsity for like the whole game. 3 and out
after 3 and out. Like they just looked so defeated. Like they were trying really hard, I'm sure. And
like John Walters, like it was like I don't think it was the fourth quarter or the late third quarter. He's like, well, it's like he said the score, and then he's like the 0 scored offensive touchdowns.
0 points by the Texas Tech offense.
Yeah, because of the kick return not the block punt for a touchdown. Yeah, it was just a take care of business game.
Mm-hmm.
I think like this game would be called for like the Jake Remsburg game coming out party.
Jake Remsburg, Daniel Jackson.
Yeah, Daniel Jackson. And the one thing that happened at the very end of the game where Hasheem Young got targeting.
Again, like we talked about last week, targeting is just
brutal.
Because I mean, it probably was targeting, but like it wasn't a brutal hit. The guy got right up. It was just an open field tackle that Hasheem led with his head.
And it happened the second half, and you got suspended for the first half of the Okie State game.
I know, it just has huge implications. Like, I understand Hasheem, like he obviously shouldn't be lowering his head and leading with his head, but like missing a whole half of the next game is such a severe penalty. So even if it was a quarter, like
I mean, the Okie State game, I mean, now looking back on it, really didn't really matter much because we went to the Big 12 Championship game and the Fiesta Bowl.
I know, but like,
because like
Hasheem is one of our best defenders. So like,
yeah, like we didn't know at the time. Like we're still like in the hunt for if we win that game, like we're one
playoff would have been really
one possession away from making the playoff, possibly
right,
beating Oklahoma in the Big 12 Championship game. So this game was fun.
It was fun. Like obviously being there, like the atmosphere was as good as possible. Like being in the 70s in October is rare in Iowa, so it was a super nice day. Everyone was in shorts.
That was just a bummer, and when tailgating, I was like, damn, this would have been perfect.
Oh, it would have been a perfect day for tailgating.
Right after beating Oklahoma, just perfect weather.
Especially the year before, where the tailgating weather was just horrendous, where it rained every single home game. Like this would have been such a nice treat after enduring that year. But
I think the grass lots were like open for like 2 of the games.
Yeah, because they were all muddy because it just poured every.
And one of them was the Iowa game where it rained the whole time.
Oh my gosh, it was awful. Yeah, no, I think this was like a really good example of just how far we've come as a program where, I don't know, I feel like early Campbell years, like we knew we were good, like we could turn it on, but like there was always some games that like we just didn't execute consistently when we'd lose a game that we shouldn't have. But like this was like we know we're better. We're just gonna
come out and show it.
We're not gonna be flashy. We're just gonna like do what we do best. And
because this is very similar, because we beat Oklahoma, Trevor Ryan 2017, and the next game was the Texas Tech game, right?
And we whooped them.
Or was it the Kansas game?
I can't remember what the game was.
Yeah, those meshed together, but we just like. It was very similar. We like, oh, was that a fluke? No, we just come out, showed them that it wasn't a fluke at all. And yeah, there's no really special plays in this game. It was just take care of business, get in the red zone, throw it to our tight ends, throw it to Kohler.
One of the touchdowns in the play action like loft pass to Kohler was pretty sick.
Yeah, that was perfect. Perfect timing.
Yeah, it's just, again, an example of like Brock and Charlie are so comfortable with each other, and their timing is just so good. I think one sequence that was kind of funny was the play where we dump it up to Dylan Sainer, we fumble it, they recover it. I think we're only up like 14, so like it's not out of hand yet. So Texas Tech kind of feels like they have a little momentum. Yeah. And then they go 4 and out.
Yeah.
They get stuffed at, it was 4th and 1, and Ashim Young came out of nowhere and just
them.
Blew up their running back.
He did that. He's done that basically every game this year.
Like, I know.
Up to this point, we've talked about it every time.
I know, but it's just so funny. Like last year, like I never really appreciated or really noticed like how like his tackles, he doesn't start in the frame.
Yeah.
And then and then he comes flying in and makes the tackle, which is just goes. It's a credit to him. Where he just when he decides he's going to come up and stop the run, which does
is exciting to see what Ashim Young's going to turn into, because like
he was a freshman last year.
Yeah, like. He really reminds me of David Sims, maybe even a little better than David Sims. David Sims is really, really good.
He was good.
David Sims also really needed. He like led the team in tackles every time.
Well, yeah, because our D line and linebackers.
Their linebackers are good. It's just the D line. We had Jake Knott and Jake Klein.
Yeah, right. We just didn't have the personnel.
Yeah, the teams are good. The Big 12 last year, like around that time, were really good too. And we happen to be one of those really good Big 12 teams now.
Mm-hmm.
And. Yeah, this game was like get our offense clicking and put in some guys that usually don't play.
Which is always fun. Like I feel like it's always nice to sprinkle in those games where like you kind of get to see the next generation and like just get excited about them. Like Eric Horn had a couple good hits again. One was on kickoff where he just absolutely murdered their guy. TJ Tampa got some playing time. Was a true freshman last year.
Eric Horn is the guy who blew up Spencer Rattler the week before.
Yep. Yeah, TJ Tampa like is I don't know if you haven't seen the highlight of his dunk from high school, like he's just an insane athlete.
He looks like he would have been the best player on our last year's team for sure.
Yeah, like he in basketball.
Yeah, basketball. My bad.
But he's built. He's like 6'2", has super long arms. Kind of he looks built like Richard Sherman, which now makes sense that he's number 25. Maybe he is a big Richard Sherman fan, but he was a true freshman. He was pretty skinny last year. Obviously, didn't have the
tall too.
Didn't have the summer to work out, so I'm excited to see what he's like because I think he'll probably get some playing time this year for sure.
He'll be a guy who really benefits the Andrews.
Yeah.
Because he didn't have it the year before.
For sure.
Like we covered last podcast.
Yeah, but no, it's just fun. I wish that and we even said while we're at the game, like Brock and Brees played almost the entire game. Yeah. Like the game was out of hand. Like it would have been nice to see Deckers and Easton Dean and Aiden Bitters and
I think we're like obviously if they didn't have the block kick for
touchdown. It was like 28-0, 31-0.
I feel like Campbell has like a set number of like when players will play. We didn't reach that. We just got close to it, but didn't get. Yeah, our offense line really clicked, and it was really fun to see.
Yeah, like the combination of Remsburg and Simmons on the right side.
Two freshmen on the same side.
When they're cooking, like Brees just has so much room to run, and like prior to this, Brees has like shown he can really do well with not a ton of room. So like,
and like one thing I didn't think of till now is Remsburg didn't play against Oklahoma. He played against Oklahoma, didn't play again the week before because Ramos was playing, and then played in the Big 12 championship. Got hurt like the first 2 drives, so like he hasn't played against Oklahoma yet.
Right.
Which that I think we could talk about. We're gonna talk about that later down the line, but it really messed up our flow because our unit there really clicked.
Yeah, they were really good, really, really good. I guess another guy that kind of jumps out every time I watch, just like a guy we didn't use it as much as we thought of is Kenny.
Yeah.
Kenny was
just shows up
so good last year.
Shows up every time.
He just had big play when we needed him. Like, just, I know he's fast. Like, every time you watch him, you're just like, holy crap, he's really fast.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see. Hopefully, like, he can find a spot in the Vikings and can be their kick return guy, maybe like a specialist in certain situations at running back. Yeah, I think he's got a super high ceiling in the NFL. But yeah, I just, obviously with Brees being who he was last year, not a ton of snaps to give up to under running backs, but Kenny was just really, really good.
Yeah, it'll be. Did you say it'll be like who replaces him? Do you think it'll be Tariq or Daniel Jackson? Like that'll be interesting to see.
Oh,
like
kick return?
Kick return and
I don't know. I feel like I think Darian Porter had some time at kick return.
Because I know we just threw. I guess Tariq was hurt when the punt return.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know who like the fastest guys on our team are now. Cause I mean, obviously, it was just like Kenny was like the fastest, and like the next one wasn't near
close.
Yeah, so I'll be interesting to see. I mean, watching Dan Jackson this game, he looks like he has Big 12 speed. So maybe that'll be him.
He'll probably be a guy we don't expect.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Jalen Noel.
He could be a true freshman. Who knows? But I don't know. That's just like, obviously it's June, so like we can find any little thing to get excited. And I just like the deeper you dive through the roster, I think it's just fun to kind of cheer for, like, especially like when young guys like get a little playing time, like you notice them, you cheer for them, and then like
they show glimpses of what they could be.
Yeah, that's always fun. But it's just this year it'll be crazy if they have, because like we have 20 of 22 starters returning. So,
and I think that next year will be like the UNI game, second half, and then like I don't know what we're gonna do with the UNLV game, because like UNLV is one of the worst teams in the Division I.
Really,
and that'll be a party. I'm still trying to get tickets to go. Still trying to figure out.
Iowa State's already sold out of their allotment, so
Iowa State fans really made it hard on young people in their 20s to go.
I know, especially Vegas also has 2 musical festivals going on that weekend, so it's going to be like a busy town. It's also making flights a lot more expensive than.
I hope they open up the upper deck so they can just get as many people as possible.
Oh, I bet there'd be 40,000 fans.
Like if you're just a regular guy in Vegas, like that'd be a fun game just to go see Breece Hall. And
for sure. For sure.
Which I don't think they planned on that. Like how long ago they planned the schedule out. I don't think Iowa State wasn't like what they are now.
Right.
So it'll be interesting. I don't even know if they had the Raiders Stadium. Like didn't know the Raiders were going to come to like Vegas, because they plan out the schedule so long.
Yeah, it might not be.
Because I think we rescheduled the home game in like 2028 or 2030 or something, because last year we couldn't play them,
which is wild.
Which who the hell knows where this podcast will be by then?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah, might hear some Michael's babies scream in the background. Yeah, by then.
Or yours?
No, okay. We'll see all that.
So I guess my question to you is, who? I know we've kind of touched on it before, but like, it's so hard to know. Like, who was the guy that didn't play last year that's going to like be a key contributor this year?
Yeah, just like the guys that get injured. I feel like Trevor Downing, obviously. And
which is like a thing. I think people have totally forgotten how good Trevor Downing is.
Yeah, which we've touched on this before, but man, because like he's supposed to be the D guy on their offensive line, and I hope he comes out and shows out and stays healthy. So because he reach his full potential, because everything we've heard, because we talked to Brian, he says he has a really high NFL ceiling. So I hope
which is exciting.
He can stay healthy so he can achieve those goals of his, and it'll just be fun to see an Iowa State team that actually, like, whenever we play UNI, like, I'm not talking about like recent history, but like, because like we've had Bailey and NA with UNI, we usually don't even own the front, which I think we should be able to this year, obviously. Maul UNI,
especially because they just had their best lineman get drafted.
Yeah, so like I don't know. It just seems like we've never been able to do that. Like we always think we can do that, but we never actually do. Which I hope we can actually.
Yeah, no, I hope we're up like 28-0 at halftime and
just a party.
Yeah,
yeah.
It'll be a good celebration.
I just hope it's not a buzzkill somehow.
Yeah,
it always seems like it does, but we got the overwhelming amount of talent this year to hopefully overcome that. And like as a player, will be like too much because like the hype for this season, and then like having the full crowd finally, and like imagine being, I mean, who like Xavier Hutchinson having his first full packed stadium,
which is a guy that still no one talks about. He was first team all Big 12 last year.
Yeah, he had a pretty good game this game too.
Yeah, he was really good last year. Like, I think he obviously was our number one receiver, but it was all about the tight ends, all about Brock and Brees. Like, Xavier didn't get near the love that he deserved, and I think
because
we'll be reminded that really, really quickly as soon as the season starts.
And we always look back like, oh, is he as good as Akeem or Allen Lazard? But like in his own way, like he's really, really, really.
Well, he's just very different. Like like Hakeem and Allen were such a
tall receivers,
right? They were just like a specific type of receiver. Like Xavier is just different, but he's really good at things they weren't good at, and
because Hakeem and Allen Lazard were basically tight ends. They were just fast enough to play receiver.
Yeah,
and obviously Allen playing in the NFL
just figured it out a little bit.
Pretty good. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe you can donate to the podcast because he's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah,
a lot of money.
Yeah,
and hopefully the Aaron Rodgers situation.
Hopefully, yeah, Aaron, for his sake.
Yeah, because like that's the first thing That's the first thing I thought of when I saw Aaron wanted out. I'm like, dang, that sucks because Allen Lazard's finally just coming through his own, and it'd suck for him to or what's his face? Jordan Love.
Which he could be good or bad. I don't know.
That could be a fiasco, which I'd feel really bad for.
Yeah, it's kind of cool to see like the parallel between George's path into professional sports and Allen's. Like they're very similar. Like they're both like George was a late draft pick. Allen wasn't drafted.
Even Monte, honestly, too.
Yeah, but I feel like everyone kind of knew Monte was going to be.
He played in the G League a little bit,
right? But like George and Allen, like they just started on a team. Wasn't a good fit. They kind of floated around a little bit, and then they found the right fit, and you can see what they're both.
That's a good point, and they're like two cornerstones of Iowa State.
Oh, and just love Iowa State. Yeah. Still tweet about Iowa State like every day, which is so good for
just recruiting. And like thank God Allen Lazard's dad went to Iowa State.
No kidding,
because he was, when Campbell came and had his successes last year, just so awesome for Allen to get to a bowl game and win it, and then put the helmet upside down at the press conference, which was funny. Yeah, we're kind of just going all over the place now.
Yeah, well, it's just when you get, I don't know. Every time I talk about Iowa State football, it just gets me psyched, and I feel like the hype really hasn't even started yet.
No,
like it's still June. Like it doesn't feel like football's close.
It's after,
but as soon as August hits,
or after the 4th of July,
is
when it sets in. Which, like going back, because we like go back to our childhood, and like usually like 4th of July, and then the NCAA football games comes out like the next week.
Yeah,
and that's when we're just like, let's go.
Yeah, and then like you play Dynasty for all the way until it's like 2035, and
and then it's like, oh, it's school starting, and then football season.
School starting, a little buzzkill, but then like I feel like if college football didn't start as close to like the start of school, like school would have been just so much worse.
Yeah, that's for sure too. Yeah, like
especially for your sake.
Yeah, for my sake for sure, and because I just remember like staring at the clock, like, all right, one day closer, and then we go losing you and I'm like, oh, come on.
All right, now we got to wait another year for this.
Another coach, Gene Chizik.
Come on. Yeah. No, it'll be here before we know it. Just
waiting patiently. I don't like really. My grandma says don't wish your life away, but it's kind of hard when we have a top 10 football team, which I never thought was going to happen.
I know, which like it's still doesn't feel real.
No,
like last year kind of feels like it was a dream.
Because like
it was, but it was also just weird. Like it wasn't a normal football year, so it just like kind of felt like did it happen or didn't happen? Like I don't know. Like when Iowa comes to town and it's like a top 13 matchup, like
it's gonna be something we've never seen before.
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy.
And like to compare it to basketball, like when we were really good at basketball, like why can't this just be in Jack Trice? Like imagine that. Like Hilton.
We always used to say
The
that.
same amount of energy just in Hilton.
Just
in Jack
50,000 more people.
Yes, which the West Virginia game 2018 is like the first time where it kind of felt like that. Because like Hilton's such a special place. And like, Jack Trice is too, but like
because of the fans, but like
the play that wasn't there, which Campbell is kind of a Johnny Orr.
Yeah, it's a great.
But like Mac was a big part of it too, but like building the fan base, and it was just kind of like passing the baton, like Jamie says. Mac was a huge part, and then Paul Rhodes was an Iowan, grew the fan base a lot
for sure,
and then Campbell brought the
success. Like if you look at the graph of like, it's just like an exponential.
I think Brent Bloom was talking about on his podcast that how like Iowa, like we like 10 years ago, like we had like 15,000 less season tickets in Iowa, and now like we might pass them a couple of years.
Which is, if you look at the two histories of the program, is insane.
Yeah, which Iowa has to now sell beer to get them to go to games. Since
I don't know about that, but
since I don't know, since their style play doesn't really fill the seats anymore. Which I don't know. Maybe if he can go to a game, he might catch a Petrus ball. He throws in the stands so
true,
much.
Yeah, he's got a cannon. He probably could reach upper deck.
Yeah, we can.
That was a cheap shot, but
cheap shot in June.
Yeah,
which like the Cyhawk Twitter or like some random time, like
they're so toxic.
So like it comes in spurts. Like it doesn't take much for the thing
just like one guy mouths off, and then it's just like 100 replies.
Like to go south. Like when the Jordan Bohannon thing happened, like it was ugly for like 3 days straight of just Iowa State fans.
Yeah,
I don't really blame Iowa State fans, but it was kind of come on. But like if it was George Niang,
thankfully Jordan's okay. So like
yeah, right. Like
if it's one of those things, though, like where like you're like mouthing off and like things aren't okay, like you,
especially like not to like throw shade at Jordan because like obviously we're not very big guys, but like if it was like Royce White at the bar, like that's a little different because like no one's gonna mess with Royce White,
right?
But
no, yeah, I mean Jordan is just he
guy.
Looks like a normal guy. He's just really good at basketball.
Yeah, likes to run his mouth on Twitter and he leans into it too. Like I don't know, I'm not. Who knows? We don't even know if like that was an Iowa State fan. Like it could
it wasn't. I don't think it was.
It could just been an Iowa fan. That's just I don't know. It's kind of weird.
But I've also like I've had friends that have like hung out with Jordan, like say he's like a super normal, nice guy too. So like
yeah, it's just when you go down the road of just being like what he has been, but like it's there's both ways. Like,
but it's good for but also people like that. Like George Niang was the exact same way in the opposite sense.
Yeah,
Iowa fans hated George.
Yeah, like blowing kisses the crowd
at their stadium. Yeah, we're up 20.
Yeah, that game is just a podcast on its own because like that day of like Bryce Sean Jones,
not playing and that's what I'm saying. So like if George Niang got clocked, at the bar, like Iowa fans would be jumping all over that too. So.
It's just like not even 1% of that fan base that Iowa State fans like rally behind someone's pain of getting knocked in the bar. Yeah. It's like a very small percentage because like Iowa State fans and Iowa fans are like the same people.
Oh, the same, exact same.
Just really nice people, but when it comes to
there's just one specific thing they can just be so brutally mean.
It's like comparing it to politics almost.
Yeah, which is wild. It's just like, but it's also mostly random. Like it's just like you were born in a house that cheered for a certain team. Like,
yeah, it's just like a Yankees Red Sox thing.
Yeah, it's just. But I think it's just the rivalry is so fun now because like. It was honestly like they called us little brother and like Iowa State fans hated that, but like at the time it was totally true. Like Iowa as a program was so head and shoulders above what we were. But like now it's like it's the closest it's ever been.
Yeah.
So like I think that's it just makes the rivalry so much more fun. Like it's gonna gain national attention for both teams. Like I think it's only good for the state. I think
we had the college game day in the wrong time.
I know this should have been college game day. But
it was just such a bummer how the game, like
But it was just the day was totally ruined. Like it was the weather totally ruined an incredible day. So
yeah, I woke up that day and I looked at my weather app. Chance of rain, 5% chance.
And it rained all day.
Yeah. So
hopefully that doesn't happen this year. And
yeah, we deserve perfect weather.
Yeah.
Both like every college campus does. Like amount of money like businesses lost last year. Like we just need perfect weather, all 12 or however games we get at Jack Trice, and for Iowa's sake too, because like the bye week. Our first bye week is when Iowa plays Penn State.
Oh wow!
Which I'm still, me and my friend might go to try to find a game because there's a lot of good games that week to find a game.
Is it at Iowa?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
That'd be a fun game to go to.
Yeah. So yeah, well, let's wrap this up. Who we got next? Okie State game.
I know. I feel like the first couple have just been like obviously the Oklahoma game was incredible. This game was super fun, but it was just like the second half was like nothing extremely exciting happened. But this is Okie State game is kind of the last meh game to recap, but then it's just pure joy and fun after that.
And hype. Yeah. Well, that being said, go Clones.
Go Clones.